Leo right there to shut that down. Swanson's pass to Pierpont. And now Forrester over to Gladden and into the corner. Staley back behind the Lions net.
I like what Coach Kelly Gallagher's doing here, working some half-field offense. Slow it down a bit.
Pierpont inside, and Vaccaro caught a stick up on top of her head. And the official right on the spot to stop play. A call against St. Leo. And now Carly Vaccaro breaks in, bounce shot, scores! Carly Vaccaro knots it right back up, 2-2, and we're only 5 minutes, 38 seconds into this game, and already 4 goals.
Yeah, Carly Vaccaro all season long has been nothing short of spectacular. Her 41st goal, what a time, 2-2. Get the feeling this is going to be one of those games where each team just keeps taking shots back at one another. It's going to come down to those 50-50 balls, and of course, which team can play defense late.
And the Spartans opportunistic on both free position attempts. The first one, as you mentioned, was really not a smart play on the part of St. Leo, but with the shot clock winding down, they took the shot, it went wide, they get the rebound, they ended up scoring, and now here, just a flat-out conversion of the free position shot by Carly Vaccaro to knot the score at 2 as the draw is controlled by St. Leo, pulled down by Crisco, and quickly the Lions down the far side, a pass in behind the UT net. And now into the near corner, Kayla Wallstead sends it up top. Quick passing here, Leslie Ferguson with it. Ferguson with a spin move, tries to get open in the slot. And a whistle there, stopping play, a call against the Spartans.
Yeah, Leslie Ferguson has scored in every game this season for St. Leo, so she is no stranger to finding the back of the net.
And her free position attempt, she bounces it, and it goes in behind the UT net, kept alive. And a pass in front. It was bobbled, thanks in part to Sarah Bell defensively for the Spartans. And now St. Leo works it to the far side. Sabrina Sanacor, and up top to DeLuca. There's a pass over on the far side to Crisco, and breaking in, they can't get the pass to her. And it's reset up top in the person of Leslie Ferguson. She breaks in, and that one's going to go way wide and out of play. Possession will remain with the Lions.
And Bruce, the two teams met 364 days ago, last time out, and the Spartans defeated St. Leo 12-6. Get the impression this will be a similar high-scoring affair.
Here's Ferguson. Nice passing here by the Lions. As Crisco looking, shoots, and Sutter got a piece of it and they score. Did cross the goal line. Bridget Sutter initially got a piece of the shot, but it bounced the wrong way for her. And so St. Leo goes back into the lead again, 3-2, 7 minutes and 11 seconds into this game.
Delaney Crisco, it is a matter of inches that time as Sutter so close to getting what would have been a phenomenal save. But how about the spin move that time by Crisco to get around two Spartan defenders and get St. Leo the lead?
And it's worth noting that these teams are both making their shots on goal count. The Spartans have only 2 shots on goal. They've both gone in the net. And for St. Leo, they have 4 shots on goal and have scored on 3 of the 4. And you can make an argument that at the St. Leo end of the field that goaltender Rebecca Halley hasn't really been tested a whole lot yet. And there's another draw that's controlled by the Lions as Ferguson brings it down.
Yeah, the Lions have come away with 5 of the 6 draw controls thus far, and that has been a large factor in why they have the lead.
The issue there is clearly the clock, because the goal was scored 7 minutes 11 seconds into the half, and Play has resumed, as you saw, yet the clock is still showing the 7:11 mark. So the official on the field over at the scores table talking to them about that situation.
Yeah, currently the main scoreboard down here at Naimole Family Athletic and Intramural Complex. So the time on the portal appearing right now, not the Indeed time. It's 22:49. St. Leo up 3-2 against the Spartans here in the first half.
And so they're playing anyways, and now the clock resumes. So there's a shot, and Sutter made the save, and that one hit the goalpost. And now Sutter with an outlet pass to the far side, and it's pushed quickly up ahead to midfield to Aaron Sistek. And now the pass up ahead was intended for Kayla Kosubinski. Instead, it's with Vaccaro. She breaks in and scores! Carly Vaccaro. What an effort. And these teams just trading goals, as now it's 3-3.
Carly Vaccaro with the web gem, her second of the night, tied up here at 3 at the 22:19 mark here in the first half. What a ball game it has been. Both teams going coast to coast offensively.
So exactly 30 seconds after St. Leo took the 3-2 lead, Vaccaro, it's her 42nd goal of the season. And now we'll see Allie Poplar and Janie DeLuca, who is attending St. Leo all the way from East Syracuse, New York. A long way from home down here in the Sunshine State. And the officials again having words with the scorers over at the table on the far side of the field.
Spartan fans, Hurricane Johnson is picking the spread of the game. If the Lions and Spartans score more than 24 goals, he wants a gift card, courtesy of our friends at Clean Eats.
Welcome to the University of Tampa. My name is Tucker Whitman and I'm a junior marketing major here at UT. Today we're going to look at some of the highlights of our beautiful Riverside campus here in downtown Tampa. We'll start at Plan Hall. This historic building was opened in 1891 as the Tampa Bay Hotel and now serves as the main academic building here at UT, with 4 floors of classrooms as well as faculty and administrative offices. Next up, the Vaughn Center, the hub of campus life and activities. This multi-purpose building includes the campus bookstore, our primary cafeteria plus an additional food court, a theater, as well as offices and meeting rooms for students.
Back live, we are in an officials timeout down in the field. Our score tied 3-3. If you just joined us, Carly Vaccaro has 2 goals for the Spartans, and Kristen Staley with 1. On the other side of the ledger, the 2 Wallstads, Kayla and Lexi each with a goal, and Delaney Crisco with a tally as well. And that's where we are in the Sunshine State Conference game. I mentioned that the St. Leo Lions had won their first 13 games of the season and have since lost 2 in a row. And for UT, on the other hand, they have won 7 of their last 8. They're coming off the 23-5 victory here this past Saturday over Palm Beach Atlantic. They had lost 18-10 1 week ago today to snap what had been a 6-game winning streak So they rebound from the loss to Rollins a week ago to lay that big W on the standings this past Saturday, defeating the Sailfish here, and come to play another ranked opponent in St. Leo, who's number 22. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, the Spartans all the way up to a number 6 ranking, and a real credit to Coach Kelly Gallagher and what she's done with this program, improving year after year, and all the way to the point of a ranking that we see not only tonight, but I believe they were actually number 5 a week or two ago.
Yeah, before the Rollins loss. And to your point, Bruce, what an incredible job that Kelly Gallagher has done building this program, making it at the national level. And on the other side, Caitlin Hansen, in her own right, she's the school's second coach in program history, and they're contending this year at an extremely high level. And in the Sunshine State Conference, when you look at the top 5 teams, Rollins, Florida Southern, Tampa, St. Leo, and Embry-Riddle, there's not a lot of separation when you look at the standings. Right now, Rollins is beating Embry-Riddle 2-1 early in the first half, but a lot can change on a nightly basis.
And this is not the last regular season game for either of these teams. The Lions will go on the road this Saturday for an 11 a.m. game over in Melbourne on the other coast of Florida, play at Florida Tech. And for the Spartans, they will wrap up the regular season also Saturday, a 5 p.m. game on the road up in Daytona Beach, taking on Embry-Riddle. And then we wait to see how things shake out in terms of Sunshine State Conference play, and I encourage you to watch TampaSpartans.com for information regarding the Spartans' march toward Sunshine State Conference playoff games.
Yeah, nothing better than postseason play. All of the teams very familiar with one another. And then it's just a matter of which team wants it more. Who comes ready to play on, who knows, neutral sites. Some teams will have the home field advantage if lucky enough. But as we get a moment here, this is essentially both teams can regroup, and almost like pregame right now with this long delay.
Yeah, and obviously at this point, Kelly Gallagher has already had her say to her players in terms of what she has seen thus far in the opening 7 minutes, 41 seconds of play. If they're going to do anything differently at all, they've already discussed what that's going to be, so it's just a matter of keeping the players warmed up and feeling as though they're still in the flow of the game. As you see, both teams doing passing drills, informal passing drills down on the field. And so certainly on the St. Leo side, Coach Hansen has done the same with her players. And I do want to mention that if you are watching from a Lions perspective, thank you very much. You will want to stay tuned to stleolions.com to see the fate of your team as it relates to potential Sunshine State Conference playoff games once they complete their schedule, meaning following Saturday morning's game over in Melbourne at Florida Tech.
Absolutely, and taking a look at this, the Spartans very fortunate to be tied right now, having lost 5 of the 6 face-offs thus far, so they're very happy to be in this predicament, whereas for St. Leo, they have come ready to play, and almost the first 8 minutes they have entered the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex and have handed the Spartans the same energy that they brought to them.
And I'm given a note here that they are waiting for a replacement scoreboard, as seemingly the one that they had been using as the replacement perhaps is not working itself. So 7 minutes, 41 seconds into this game, we have what appears as though it's going to be an extended delay.
And Bruce, let's talk about competition. This is not the first time in any sport we've seen this. Of course, think back to the Super Bowl in the New Orleans Dome over there when the 49ers and the Ravens played. They had, of course, the huge power power outage. So in a situation here where you look at it, and the game not what either team expected it to be, but both teams have to live with it, and both teams have to adapt and get ready to adjust however long this delay is.
Well, and of course there's no advantage to either team. They're both having to quote-unquote suffer through it, so no one has any kind of advantage. And we will take this opportunity to recap the scoring for you. The Lions opened the scoring just 37 seconds into the game. Kayla Wallstad scoring that goal, which was her 27th of the season. And then 2 minutes, 56 seconds into the game, Kristen Staley put the Spartans on the board as she got her 31st goal of the season. And that lasted for not even a couple of minutes, as 4 minutes, 10 seconds into the game, Lexi Wallstad gets on the score sheet to make it 2-1. And the Spartans, again, as has been the pattern, answered right back. 5 minutes, 48 seconds in, Carly Vaccaro gets what at the time was her 41st goal of the year and her first of the game to be heard from again. 7-11, Delaney Crisco puts the Lions back into a one-goal lead. And then 30 seconds later, Carly Vaccaro again with her second goal of the game, and that's where we are, 3-3. So you would argue that when play resumes, it's St. Leo's turn to score, but of course the Spartans are going to want to have something to say about that, and that could conceivably be one of the things that Kelly Gallagher told her troops is, look, it's great that we're answering back, but we don't want to have to continue to play from behind. Let's get our first lead of the game. Let's hold on to that lead. Let's build the lead, and let's have them chase us. Remember, we're the home team. They're in our stadium.
Yeah, Bruce, you can't make that up right there. It's incredible, the electric environment right now by both of these teams. They're both putting on a show as one team scores, next draw control comes about, and within a matter of seconds, presenting a lot of pressure offensively. This has been a joy to watch so far, and we're not even 8 minutes into the game.
Halftime for a special game.
Yeah, and the one stat, Connor, that jumps out at me, I talked before about how efficient these teams have been with the shots on goal. St. Leo to this point has outshot UT 4-3. So every shot has gone in except for one, but really the one that jumps out to me the most is the draw control. St. Leo, very dominant. They've controlled 5 of the 6 draws. So that's something that I'm sure Coach Gallagher is going to spend some time talking to Allie Poplar about, talking to Lizzie Pierpont about, and just making sure that they start to control those more, because so long as this game stays this close, if this pattern keeps up of trading goals back and forth, what could be the difference could be controlling those draws and getting extra possessions for your team.
Coach Kelly Gallagher is an exceptional one of the best in the country, obviously going out there, pointing that out to the team. Like you're saying, Bruce, it's amazing that they're tied up right now given that statistic. Traditionally, you would think with a 5 out of 6 disadvantage that the Spartans would be trailing right now, but given that they're tied up, doing just fine in the counter defensively,
and ground balls to this point, 5 for UT to just 2 for the Lions. So there you see the balance, Connor, where one cancels out the other. The Spartans obviously are making up for what they're not doing with draws in terms of hustling to ground balls. And as much as you do like to see that cancel each other out, again, it goes back to we can't live and die by canceling one out with the other. We have to start controlling these draws and make sure that we're taking control of this game. It's our field. We're in the lead in the standings in terms of, yes, we're chasing first place, but 3-1 trying to hold off 2-2. We need to establish you're going to have to come to us, St. Leo. We're not going to go to you.
Yeah, and to go off that, the Spartans in response, they love playing defense, but you don't want to rely on it all the time, of course. You want to win those draw controls, get your defense a breather, and force offense. And that's what I like what Coach Kelly Gallagher did. A few instances instances in the first couple minutes, she slowed it down. So she changed the tempo and made St. Leo play their game. St. Leo wants to speed you up and get you out of rhythm. The Spartans doing a fabulous job dictating offense. And St. Leo, they can be aggressive all they want, but that's going to cause them lapses in defense. And the Spartans, they'll make you pay with the vision and the unselfishness they display offensively.
Well, what's interesting about these two teams, that 13-2 one-loss record really jumps out at you for St. Leo, but then you say they're only ranked number 22. Here's the Spartans that have one more loss. They have 4 fewer victories, yet the Spartans are ranked number 6, but I still feel that they're very even teams. When you look at the scores, UT has 4 players that have 30 or more goals, and then you look at the Lions, and they have 4 players that have 30 or more goals. So you see a number 6 ranking and a number 22 ranking, and you think there's obviously enough of a margin of difference between the two, but there's really not. And 13-2 is impressive. I don't care if there's quote-unquote only a number 22 ranking in front of it.
Definitely, and to go off of what you were saying about the Spartans a little bit earlier and their quest against Palm Beach Atlantic as we appear to be nearing resumption of play, but the Spartans last time out against the Sailfish, Claire Swanson, a whopping 5 goals, Caroline Forrester 4. We've seen Kristen Staley and Carly Vaccaro. They both had 3. They're both getting in on the action early so far, and it looks like we're about ready to resume play.
Both teams in a posture of getting ready to resume play. Over on the far side of the field at the scorers table, we appear to have gone from a temporary scoreboard that is dwarfed by the physical permanent scoreboard here to now down to something that I don't know that we're going to be able to make time in the game here as we get set. Allie Poplar coming out to midfield for this draw for UT, and it looks like she's going to go up against Janie DeLuca.
Low man wins here with these draw controls. Let's see if Poplar can take advantage and get the Spartans their second draw control so far.
And that one bounces, and coming away with it is DeLuca. And so St. Leo, we'll see, Connor, mentally where these teams are in terms of who stayed focused, who stayed sharper during that long delay. That was a long enough delay that you could start to drift away from being in game mode mentally. So let's see how things unfold here in the immediate following the resumption of play.
Precisely. It all comes down to poise. Which team can stay dialed in, pay attention to detail, and take care of business? Let's say St. Leo on the move.
And that's Leslie Ferguson with it. Ferguson drifting to her right. Ferguson looking and has up top and gives it to Kayla Wallstad. Wallstad breaks in and a pass in front is dropped, and the Lions able to come up with it anyways, as now it's fed back up top quickly to Ferguson. On the move, she's met by 2 defenders and taken down. It looked like both Alexa Scadillo and Danielle Waters converged.
Yeah, Ferguson got sandwiched that time by 3 Spartans, but now we'll have the opportunity to give her Lions the lead.
And Scadillo is going off, so we may have a penalty against UT here. So yellow card as Leslie Ferguson is awaiting word from the official for the free position attempt. And she breaks in, and Sutter may have gotten a piece of that one as it goes wide and behind the net. We have not heard an official call yet, but Alexis Cadillo is over in the penalty area for the Spartans. And the Lions quickly pass in front, and strong defense there by, call it, 3 UT players.
Even though we see Alexis Scadillo penalized, love everything about that play, though. She is the motor. She sets the urge and the intensity for the Spartans. They'll look to pick her up here as they cross midfield.
And faking the pass over to the left was Abby Kakanya. She goes right, and now here's an opportunity, and taken away That was Danielle Waters, and the Lions able to, well, hold on. Now it's turned over again, and so the Spartans get it right back as Rachel Crawford tries to settle things down with her pass over for Vaccaro. Vaccaro sends it in behind the net. Staley, and sent over to Kosubinski. Pushes it up top to Gladden, and now over for Lauren McNeil. McNeil weighing her options and tried to get it back to Gladden. She's able to come up with it and now drops it again. And the official right there on the spot to call that against the Lions. Kosubinski runs that one in. A couple of defenders on her. Kosubinski goes right into traffic anyways. Now her pass over for Vaccaro. In behind the net, Crawford over for Staley. And looking for something near the net. Here's an opportunity, and now they shut it down. Nice play defensively by Mackenzie Cotter. Playing on Kristen Staley as it's sent way back up top.
The Lions bringing the heat defensively. Spartans now trying to make something happen late in the shot clock.
Staley looks in front. Shot scores! Carly Vaccaro with her third goal of the game, and now the Spartans have their first lead.
Yeah, what a cut down the lane by Vaccaro. A little bit of nylon. Spartans take the 4-3 lead. And then you said it, Bruce Best. How about the pass, the vision, and the Spartans take advantage of the defensive lapse as we have 19:22 left in the first half.
A Spartan goal scored by number 11, Carly Vaccaro.
So Carly Vaccaro, 43 goals on the season. The assist goes to Staley. And so Kristen Staley now with 2 points on the night, a goal and an assist. And she is 1 point away from 50.
And Bruce, I'd say that Vaccaro's just getting going. 3 goals on only 3 shots. She has had everything working for her in the first 10-plus minutes or so, giving her team the lead that they needed.
And I believe that the Spartans were still short on that goal due to the penalty that had been called.
We do see Scadillo off the bench now, so it appears that, Bruce, I believe you were talking about the minute penalty. It is evolved, and now the Spartans knocking on the door.
And that's Rachel Crawford up top for Maggie Gladden. Pierpont over to Vaccaro and into the corner for Kosubinski. Back behind the net, Staley, and flips it out to the other side. And this is Rachel Crawford. A return pass now. And she was waiting and expecting and did get it back from Maggie Gladden. Now a pass in front, Vaccaro, and that time the save is made by Hallie. And she outlets quickly as the Lions look to break out, as the Spartans with a nice sustained attack there.
Yeah, even though the Spartans come up empty-handed, Vaccaro, she had the first step, and the look that time just fumbled the ball a little bit and was still able to get the shot off. Give a lot of credit to the goalkeeper that time, Hallie, to make a big save.
The Lions cross the UT line. That's Leslie Ferguson. Her pass over on the far side. The Lions, it look like they'll take it behind the UT net. And now a move towards the front. And it's put on the ground, picked up by the Spartans. That was Lexi Wallstad who went down and lost it, and the Spartans quick to pick up the ground ball.
Yeah, Alexis Scadillo, the head on a swivel perimeter defense. What a play that time.
And that is Scadillo completing the pass to Lauren McNeil. McNeil to Kakanya. Abby Kakanya connects up ahead with Staley. Staley will head back to that spot that she likes in behind the net. And Kristen Staley carries on, pops out the other side. Now her pass for Kosubinski hit the goalpost. And a big rebound as Maggie Gladden corrals it. And Gladden on the run to Pierpont to Vaccaro. a fresh shot clock as Rachel Crawford has it in the near corner. Crawford starts her move, spins, and can't get a shot away. Has to take it in behind the Lions net. Pass out on the other side, and they'll reset up top with Kosubinski. The Lions, she gets through the defense, and that one was deflected and rolls to the goaltender Haley, and the Lions seemed like their defense was collapsing and giving the Spartans extra room to work there. And now, is UT able to cause another turnover? They do.
Yeah, that's the 6th turnover of the game for St. Leo. Creating havoc are the Spartans, and now we get a whistle.
And Maggie Gladden, the stick came up on top of her head as she ran through. And the official right there to call that one.
Will make you pay if you get a little too handsy and get penalized. Here we go, now an advantage. Look for the Spartans to move the ball around the perimeter, set up a curl route, get a quick cutter. Love the movement that Kelly Gallagher's offense always possesses when they have the advantage.
A yellow card has been issued to St. Leo's number 28, Kayla Wallstad.
So we get the yellow card on Kayla Wallstad.
And the Spartans at work here. Here's Kosubinski, has some room, and that one will roll out as the goaltender Haley seemed to have gotten a piece of the shot. Possession remains with UT. And quickly they put it back in. This is Vaccaro and finds Kosubinski, who scores! Kayla Kosubinski, and the Spartans have a 2-goal lead now after having played catch-up each time that St. Leo scored. They took their first lead of the game and now have expanded it to 2 as it's 5-3.
We are seeing the Spartans' continuity offense here in Namoli tonight. Moving without the ball, such a crucial part to steady offense, and that Kayla Kosubinski with the backdoor cut and the dish that time. Carly Vaccaro on the money. Spartans get the lead 5-3.
And that's her 15th goal of the season, and keep in mind that the yellow card had been issued, so the Spartans able to convert as a result.
And we will get a quick word from our proud sponsor, Enterprise.
At Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we listen.
And we've been listening for more than 55 years.
To customers and employees.
In fact, there was an Enterprise employee who came up with the idea of picking you up when you need to rent a car.
It was a great idea.
At your house, at the repair shop, we'll pick you up.
Wherever you need us.
We'll be there. Listening. Let us show you what that means.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
And back here following that timeout after the 5th UT goal. And Allie Poplar goes to her familiar spot at midfield as she will take this draw for UT against DeLuca. And interestingly, Allie Poplar is not the team leader in draw controls for UT this season. But she does get the lion's share of the work to start the draw. Most of the work is mop-up, as Claire Swanson has been a vacuum in controlling the ball once it comes out of the draw. She has 101 draw controls entering tonight's game.
From a St. Leo perspective, even though they trail by 2, they have a 7-2 draw control advantage. If they continue to do that, they should be in good shape to continue contending.
And the Lions, they continue to play with a sense of, for lack of a better word, urgency. An offense that doesn't stand around and waste time with all kinds of passing and perimeter plays. You see another opportunity in front. They score. A nice play there by Ferguson, right down the slot, and puts that one in behind Bridget Sutter to bring the Lions back within 1. It's 5-4.
4 goals for St. Leo by 4 different players, and Leslie Ferguson, one of the program's all-time greats. She collects her 50th goal on the season. What a campaign it has been for the senior from Marletta, Georgia.
Ferguson has 66 points with that goal. So 66 points in her 16th game.
Yeah, been an even game. Both teams have amassed 11 shots, and here we go for another vital draw control coming forward.
And the usual combatants out there for that draw, meaning Poplar and DeLuca, as it's St. Leo racing down the far side of the field. And it's pushed in behind the Spartans' net. Now on the near side to Ferguson. A pass to DeLuca. And up top quickly to Kayla Wallstad. And now Crisco with it. Crisco being defended by Claire Swanson. And there's one that's lobbed up in the air. Ferguson able to come down with it. And that's going to be a call against UT.
Yeah, see a hold that time by the Spartans. We're at 14:24. We apologize for the clock issues. It has not been the game we anticipated, but we are here nonetheless, and it's been an absolute
There's a shot,
pleasure.
they score.
Yeah, now we're tied up at 5, and it's been one of those games, both teams going on runs, and St. Leo in the mix of one right now.
And being opportunistic when it comes to free position attempts.
Score is tied at 5.
As you see that one beating Bridget Sutter. And so interestingly, this game started with the teams trading goals. That it was St. Leo 1-0, then 1-1, St. Leo 2-1, then 2-2, and St. Leo 3-2 before UT scored 3 consecutive goals. They made it 3-3, 4-3, and 5-3. And now it's been St. Leo's turn as they've answered back with 2 of their own. And we sit knotted once again.
Yeah, and for Ferguson, she's in the zone right now. 2 goals in under 1 minute. And this is an important ground ball that is still up for grabs.
And I wanted to say pulled down by Allie Poplar, but they're still battling for it. 5 of them. And the official right there on the spot to make the call.
But you love that battle right there. Neither team gave up. The ball appeared several times to be going to be taken away by a player, but neither team gave up.
Yeah, unpopular with the home fans, but you see the Lions quickly taking this one down into the UT end of the field. They have it in behind Sutter, and they want more. And there's an opportunity in front, and the official...
Yeah, another high stick that time. Up in the neck area, and we get a whistle.
And that, too, looks like it might again be Alexis Scadillo, as she heads over to the penalty area where she had been earlier in this game.
Yeah, and Alexis Scadillo, she knows how to play the game one way, and that's hard. She's going to give it 110% when she's out there. So even though she's penalized, you see the bench cheering her up right there. Nothing to falter for. She's just playing intense defense, head on a swivel, but St. Leo can retake the lead.
And waiting for the official's whistle. There it is. And the shot will not be taken as it's carried in behind the UT net and now sent way up top to Ferguson. And she sends a pass over. The Lions quickly in behind the Spartans net. Pass in front, wide open. And oh, what a save by Sutter on Sanacor. As Sabrina Sanacor had a great look at the net. And Bridget Sutter there to close the door.
Yeah, save of the day, without a doubt. Bridget Sutter on the doorstep that time were the Lions, but she makes the save that could potentially spark the Spartans.
And here goes Allie Poplar across midfield. A pass up ahead to Maggie Gladden. Gladden holds on to it, keeps it herself, takes a shot and scores! Maggie Gladden as the Spartans quickly down the field, and just like that, they've restored the lead. It's 6-5.
Now, Bruce, I just have a question. Are we watching a track and field event or a lacrosse game? The Spartans moving the ball down the field.
Well, and Maggie Gladden had a decision to make there. She was at least 2-on-1. Potentially, it could have been a 3-on-1 break. And Haley was waiting as well to see if she was going to commit to the shot or pass. And by that time, it was too late, as Gladden is able to bury that one to put the Spartans back in front. And for Maggie Gladden, that's her 28th goal of the season.
Yeah, we got a barn burner right now. 11 goals have been scored as we have 13 minutes left in the first half.
And encouraging for Coach Kelly Gallagher that goal was scored with them being one player short due to the call that was against Alexis Scadillo.
And like we were saying, it was that save by Sutter that started all of that. The Lions were so certain they were going to score that save shocked everybody, and the Spartans, credit them, they pushed it down the field, and now the Spartans win the draw control.
Back down comes Forrester, and Caroline Forrester steps back off of some pressure defensively from Haley Campbell. And now UT sets up shop in behind the St. Leo net. Here's Staley. Right in the slot, wide open. Claire Swanson scores. Claire Swanson goes 5-hole, and UT gets their 2-goal lead back. It's now 7-5 as Claire Swanson gets her 35th goal of the season.
Yeah, Claire Swanson was quiet in the early going, playing second fiddle, letting her teammates step up and shine. When she gets the opportunity, she does not miss too often. And that time, wide open net. She knows what to do from there. And the Spartans going on a run now after St. Leo tied it up and went on a 2-goal run themselves.
Kristen Staley gets the assist. So she's had a hand in 3 of the 7 Tampa goals thus far with 1 goal and 2 assists. Carly Vaccaro leading the way with 4 points on 3 goals and 1 assist as we await this draw between Allie Poplar and Janie DeLuca. And there it is, it comes out and appeared as though it was going to be pulled down by Ashley Salvett for the Lions, but it's Claire Swanson who comes out with it for the Spartans and now sends her pass ahead to Gladden. Maggie Gladden ducks under a check there from Crisco, and the Spartans work it to the far side of the field with Carly Vaccaro. She heads in behind the St. Leo net, leaves it back there for Staley. Staley up to Maggie Gladden, and now Swanson up top. Swanson looking, sends it over to Vaccaro. Carly Vaccaro misses it, and it's going to roll toward the far sideline, and there to scoop it up in time is Rachel Crawford to keep it in play for UT. Crawford on the move. Crawford being checked closely there by Molly Tesorio, and it rolls to this sideline now.
And you were saying, Bruce, you wanted St. Leo to play more some urgency. They're amping it up right now, but here comes Claire Swanson.
And not able to beat Haley that time as the Lions dodge a bullet there. The Spartans starting to swarm now.
Yeah, that ricocheted off of Haley's shoulder that time, so however you got to get it done, but she gets the save nonetheless.
As the Lions have to work now to get it out of their own end. And there's a pass that does connect with Casey Archer. And now it's across midfield and quickly to the UT line. Down comes the Lions on the far side of the field, and they'll take that one all the way down in behind the UT net. Pass back up top now. Crisco sends her pass over for Ferguson. Ferguson one-on-one against Claire Swanson, sends a pass into the far corner. Plenty of time, 35 seconds on the shot clock. And now here's an opportunity for the Lions, and Sutter may have gotten a piece of that one, but the Lions get the rebound. And a fresh shot clock as now quickly a pass in the middle came from Kayla Wallstead, and it was put on the ground, and now the Spartans able to come up with the loose ball. Abby Kakanya on the run.
Spartans swarming defense. Lions now with 7 turnovers.
And that's Danielle Waters crossing midfield. Waters hits the Lions line, sends a pass up ahead that connects with Vaccaro. Pass in front, Caroline Forrester scores!
What a dime by Vaccaro to see Forrester, who snuck behind the back line of the defense. 8-5 Tampa.
A Spartan goal scored by number 6, Caroline.
And here comes Neil Diamond with Sweet Caroline.
The assist to number
Well, and the Lions continuing with that persistent offense, but they weren't able to convert, and the Spartans caused the turnover and don't waste any time in going down the other way and inflating their lead to 3.
And I like the huddle that time by St. Leo in the crease. 9:42. The Spartans were leading 5-3, but St. Leo came right back down. Leslie Ferguson scored 2, and we will have a timeout now. But the Spartans, after the game was tied up, to get 3 straight unanswered goals. The resiliency by the Spartans. And with that, we will get a word from our proud campus dining service, Sodexo.
It's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources, community, everything. Quality of life services. That's what we do. Sodexo.
Back live, the Spartans in an 8-5 lead. Connor, is St. Leo reeling at this point, or is it let's keep this from getting to the point where then we're reeling?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And right now, I know that Coach Caitlin Hansen, she is testing her team right now to say, we are on the road. This is a Tampa battle between 2 teams, extremely talented. But I think to your point to the second part, continue to reinforce that you guys are good enough to play on this same field. And the Spartans, they have done a fabulous job turning defense into offense. But hey, St. Leo, they have had the opportunities. It has just been a matter of getting quality looks on net. As we see, they have a 9-4 advantage in draw controls. So the time of possession has been in their favor. It's just a matter of making the exclamation point and capitalizing on those given opportunities.
One thing that we are going to see coming out of this timeout is Coach Hansen is deciding to make a goaltending change. And so the junior, Aaron Davis, is going to take over in goal from Rebecca Halley. And up until this point, Halley has allowed 8 goals and made just 3 saves. So while it is only a 3-goal margin, Coach Caitlin Hansen deciding, let's go with Aaron Davis and see if this changes fortunes for the team. And she's hoping that obviously her Lions players can rally around that, and that obviously Davis will make her look good and make the stops that she didn't feel that Haley was going to make for her if she left her in.
Yeah, as a coach, you got to press the right buttons as we're ready to resume play. 9:42 to go. Reminder, Ian Gamiri and I will have the halftime show. Stay right with us as we resume play.
5'5" Janie DeLuca once again against 5'9" Allie Poplar. And they're going to do this one again as the official gets them to reset. A 3-goal lead for the home team. And that one pops out right into the stick of Claire Swanson. Swanson on the move. And Claire Swanson has some room and now slows it down and sends it into the corner. Staley over for Rachel Crawford. Crawford comes out the other side to Caroline Forrester. Forrester, one of 6 UT goal scorers. And now Crawford in the far corner to Gladden. Allie Poplar, Forrester again. And over to this side of the field to Claire Swanson. Back up top, Forrester starts to inch her way in. Gladden with a little skip step and tried to make a pass that Forrester missed, but she's able to pick it back up, and so the Spartans send it into the corner as Kristen Staley is on the move now. Staley, she's shut down, and the Lions defense swarming there and able to take it away. And so St. Leo trailing now by 3 goals.
Delaney Crisco with the perimeter defense that time, causing the turnover. But you see the Spartans set up a little bit of a trap here as the Lions move across midfield.
And quickly they come. Casey Archer withstands a check there. And now up top is Ferguson. Ferguson on the move. Can't get around the defender, Kristen Frizzol. And it's in behind the Spartans net, popping back out in front now. Now they take it back in behind the net once again. And they'll retry up top as Crisco sends it over for DeLuca.
Spartans everywhere Ferguson on defense right now. Love the double teams coming from out of nowhere, and the Lions turn it over.
Yeah, Abby Kakanya and Kristen Frizzol double teamed Ferguson and took it away. And so UT on the run now as that one's up ahead with Swanson. Claire Swanson trying to get past Ashley Salvet. Pass in front, scores! Kristen Staley with her second goal of the game, and the Spartans lead now goes to 4 as it's 9-5 with what looks like, I believe it's about 7:21
I believe that is
left in the first half.
And how about Kristen Staley? 2 goals, 2 assists. She's only a sophomore, but she does not play like it. She is some type of gamer out there. And along with Carly Vaccaro, who has 3 goals and 2 assists in her own right, leading the Spartans 9-5.
And so much more encouraging for UT than the game started out when they had to continue to play catch-up each time St. Leo was scoring in terms of the first 3 goals of the game.
But like we were saying earlier, you know that St. Leo is not going to go away. So it is imperative that the Spartans keep their foot on the gas pedal and finish this first half how they're playing at this moment.
UT has outscored St. Leo 7-2, following what was a 3-2 Lions lead. As you see the Spartans in control once again here as Swanson, well, her pass doesn't connect. The official right there to call that one, as it was Sarah Bell in on the play as Staley takes it now in behind the net, passes to Crawford. Crawford looking in front, holds onto it, and now a little flip pass, and Lauren McNeil, and they're going to call that one against McNeil.
Yeah, McNeil lowered her shoulder with the bull dodge, victimized that time, and St. Leo comes away with it.
So the Lions waiting for the official's whistle on the restart, as it looks like that's Lexi Wallstad who's going to put it into play once play resumes.
6:36 left in the first half. Thanks for joining Bruce and I here on TampaSpartans.tv in the Inner Sunshine State clash between 2 of the top teams in women's lacrosse.
And now we seem ready to resume as the Lions bring it up. That's actually 18 and not 8. So Tessa Riero, and that one goes out of play. And so UT, a wasted opportunity for the Lions, as the Spartans, who have a 4-goal lead, will get another possession here as they work to get it across midfield. And now carrying up a pass ahead from Sistek. And now over on the far side is Rachel Crawford. Crawford takes it in behind the Lions net. Staley wanting to go one-on-one. Passes instead to Kosubinski. Kosubinski on the move. And that one's going to be thrown away. And so Kosubinski will watch her teammate Lauren McNeil chase it down just in time. And up top now, Pierpont for Kosubinski. And now Staley sends it to Crawford. Crawford in behind the net. Don't forget we had a goaltending change for St. Leo, as that's now Aaron Davis. She has allowed 1 goal and is yet to make her first save after the starter, Rebecca Haley, gave up 8 goals and made just 3 saves in just over 20 minutes of play.
Lizzie Pierpont with the golden opportunity to get the Spartans to double digits.
And the shot taken, scores! Pierpont beats Davis. And the UT lead inflates now to 10-5.
Yeah, with what Lizzie Pierpont, the freshman, has done in her opportunities granted to her has been spectacular. This is a player that she is just behind so many talented upperclassmen that she doesn't necessarily get all of the opportunities, but when she does, she makes the most of them. And the Spartans now up 10-5.
And she becomes the 7th different goal scorer for UT so far in this game.
And we see that Allie Poplar back out there for the draw control. We have 5:12 left. And Bruce, these next 5 minutes going to factor in dramatically to this ball game before we go to intermission.
And that time opposing Poplar on the draw was Casey Archer. And the Lions in control here. As you see it sent up ahead by Ferguson. And now Archer sends a pass down in behind the UT net. And it's sent back up top and taken away. A nice job there by the Spartans defensively as they head back the other way. Sarah Bell. And now she looks at the official. Was hoping for a call, but the Lions have the ball back. And they push it into the near corner. And that's Lexi Wallstad. A long pass that connects with Ferguson. Ferguson over for Kayla Wallstad. Back up top to Ferguson. And 2 defenders on her, and they're in retreat as it's DeLuca now. The pass over on the other side for Kayla Wallstad, now in behind the UT net. And a shot, and Sutter got that one as Abby Kakanya watches it roll back to her goaltender.
Yeah, Bridget Sutter, she may be the unsung hero so far, because if she had not made some of these saves, could be a very different ball game.
And now Kakanya on the run, crossing her own line. Abby Kakanya approaches midfield. Her pass up ahead to Staley. Staley on the run. Sends it down to Rachel Crawford in behind the Lions net. Crawford looking out in front. There's a pass that missed the intended teammate, but it's picked up anyways by Kosubinski as she takes it into the far corner. In behind the net, that's Staley. Kristen Staley looking in front. Shot, scores!
Yeah, Maggie Gladden with the backdoor cut that time. Spartans continuing to press it on. Now with an 11-5 lead.
Maggie Gladden with her 2nd goal of the game and her 29th of the season. And it comes with just a little more than 3 minutes left in the first half.
And Kristen Staley, she's dropping dimes right now. She's got 3 assists, doing a great job finding her teammates who are cutting at such beautiful times. And for St. Leo right now, defensively, they're getting exploited by the Spartans' attack.
3 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half. And as I mentioned, St. Leo at one point had led in this game 3-2, which means that they've now been outscored 9-2 ever since. And you see the draw is controlled by the Spartans as Claire Swanson had it. And now a pass surrounded by Lions. That was Sarah Bell. And so Bell puts it back in with a pass over to Danielle Waters. Now UT on the far side of the field. And behind the net, that's Staley. Staley waiting, and Hez Kosubinski gives it to her. And the Lions able to take that one away. Hold on, a loose ball. And now picked back up by Staley. So the Spartans have it back after all. Kristen Staley. Plenty of clock here, obviously.
Yeah, that's just the Spartans not giving up on the play. They turned it over, but they stayed poised, and they caused a turnover right back. And now knocking on the door.
Gladden to McNeil to Carly Vaccaro. And Vaccaro starts to walk this one out. Vaccaro is going to retreat behind the St. Leo net after all and pushes it to the other side to Crawford. Rachel Crawford up top. This is Maggie Gladden. And UT looking for more here. They're in a big 11-5 lead. Rachel Crawford with it. In behind the net. And now two defenders there for St. Leo. And they do cause a turnover as they had taken it away from Carly Vaccaro. Now on the far side, they advance it to midfield. The Lions on the run, crossing the UT line. And a pass that's sent back. And now quickly Ferguson breaks in. Nice defense by UT to get back in time. Although wide open. And the defense collapses there as Crisco headed toward the slot. And the whistle stops play.
As we see a hold by Waters, we have 75 seconds left in the first half. Spartans 11, Lions 5.
And so let's see if the Lions can do something here, as this has turned into a one-sided affair for the home team. And the Lions trying the far side, and a spin move there by Kayla Wallstad, but the Spartans don't go for it and are able to cause another turnover as Abby Kakanya starts it out of her own end. Kakanya on the run. Crossing midfield. Abby Kakanya pushes it up ahead. Maggie Gladden with it now. Gladden's going to take it all the way in behind the St. Leo net. And that's Rachel Crawford back there. Crawford pops out and sends it up for Kosubinski.
25 on the clock, and the Spartans score once more.
There's a pass that doesn't connect with Crawford, and it's picked up by the Lions. And they'll try to get it down before the first half expires. They cross the UT line. A nice burst of steam here, and a nice sprint. That's going to be thwarted as the referee blowing that one dead. We'll have a free position attempt here for the Lions.
Yeah, only 6 seconds, but that is plenty of time to get a shot off here. And this would be a big goal momentum-wise for St. Leo if they are able to score.
Kayla Wallstad, who does have a goal so far, breaks in, shoots, and Sutter stops that one. And it rolls not out of play, kept alive, the Lions. And the horn goes to end the first half of play with the Spartans in a big 11-5 lead.
Yeah, Bridget Sutter has been on her A game for the first 30 minutes. Still have 30 to play, but the Spartans up by 6. And their resiliency, especially when we had the clock delay, really shows just how dialed in the Spartans are in a critical game with the conference standings and postseason play on the line.
And the Lions committed 11 turnovers in that first half, so a big reason that they are behind, in addition to 5-point games thus far from Kristen Staley and Carly Vaccaro. So we are at halftime, and the Spartans in the lead, 11-5.
And we will welcome our sideline reporter, Nepal's Ayan Gamiri, to the set as we take a look at the first half. Ayan, how are you? What have you seen on the field? Let's start first with the Tampa Spartans. They scored 11 goals. Carly Vaccaro with 3, Maggie Gladden with 2, Kristen Staley 2, Claire Swanson with 1, Caroline Forrester with 1, Lizzie Pierpont with 1, and Kayla Kosabinski with 1, and 6 assists. Ayan, what has stood out to you from the field?
Well, the player for me that stands out the most in this game is Carly Vaccaro. Like, she's been phenomenal. 3 goals, 2 assists. That's quite a phenomenal stat considering your team scored 11 goals, and you've had a direct handful in about 5 of them. So that shows she's really on top of her game. Also, Staley, she's been on fire too. She's got the exact same stats but in reverse order with 2 goals and 3 assists. She's also been a standout player here.
And I talk about Staley, she's only a sophomore, so what has she done in her second year with the ball club to expand on her game and take her talent to new heights?
Well, I think the key attribute a player must have is effort, and I think it shows that she's been putting a lot of that in tonight, and the stats speak for herself. She's covered quite a lot of distance here.
And what do you expect to see in the second half? If you are the coach of the Lions and Caitlin Hansen, your team trailing by 6, you have turned the ball over 11 times. However, you've won 10 of the 17 draw controls. So what can you see here? We did see Leslie Ferguson, the program's all-time goal-scoring leader, get 2 goals to make it 5-5. But since then, the Spartans have scored 6 unanswered. So if you were Coach Caitlin Hansen, what are you telling your team as you prepare for the final 30 minutes?
Well, I tell them, just start off the way you did, because let's not forget that St. Leo were probably the better team at the start of this half. They were the one dominating. They're the one that was always going in front, forcing Tampa to answer them back. But during the course of the game, after it became 5-5, it's been one-way traffic ever since. So, and I think that this half, we could say it's been a tale of two halves as well, I'd say, because let's not forget St. Leo started better, then after that they completely fell apart, and then Tampa capitalized on their collapse.
Yeah, and we are about 7 minutes from resuming the second half. Ayan, field level, Alexa Scadillo, she has 2 penalties, but talk about her physicality and aggression, setting the motor for the Spartans that has caused 3 turnovers, but as a result, St. Leo, they've coughed the ball up 11 times. What has the Spartans' perimeter defense, in particular Scadillo, done from your vantage point on the field?
Well, she brings a lot of physicality to the defense, so I think that's a key reason why she's a big starter for the University of Tampa, because she brings that physicality in there. She's not afraid to get in there. So, and I think every team must have somebody like that, and for the Spartans, it's Vaccaro.
And Ayan, you were very familiar with goaltenders. Talk about the goalie change for St. Leo. They started with Rebecca Haley, and now moving with Erin Davis in that. So what did you see there from your stance about that goaltending change?
Well, I think maybe because at the moment, you're at a rough spot here, and maybe your goalie is not really having the best of games. Maybe just switch it up a bit. And in the Sunshine State Conference here, you're gonna need a deep squad. You're gonna need good goalkeepers. You'll need several of them just as backup, because as we know, a lot of things can happen, like injuries, suspensions, and all that. So I think it's good that they have two good goalkeepers here.
And that's a great point, Ayan, as we get ready to get prepared for the second half. talk a little bit about Bridget Sutter. She has 5 goals, given up 5 goals, but she made some critical saves late for the Spartans.
Yeah, those are absolutely crucial saves. I think one of the best saves I saw was when a St. Leo player was right in front of the goal. I don't know how she saved that, but that was quite the save.
As we get ready, we see that St. Leo first to the bench. The Spartans still in their circle over there. What, in your mind, do the Lions need to do to overcome this 6-goal deficit?
Well, I think that they need to start playing more aggressively like they did at the start of the game, because as I mentioned before, they were the better team at the start, and we see incredible amount of pressure, and as we see always one player I see always circling around the goalkeeper. That's always causing Bridget Sutter to make a quick decision. So I think that their frontline press has been quite phenomenal. I just think they need to be a little bit more solid at the back.
All right, we are under 4 minutes now. Taking a look at the shot side, both teams, check that. The Spartans have 18 shots, Lions with 16. The Spartans 14 on goal, 10 for St. Leo. Both teams have gotten quality looks, but what has the interior defense of the Spartans done, particularly the back line, to keep the Lions off the board for that final 8-minute stretch?
Well, I think they've just been very disciplined in this game, like not giving them much space, like forcing them to go out wide, forcing them to make decisions that they would not normally make. Because let's not forget that St. Leo, they came into this game as like with the highest goal scoring record out of the teams in the Sunshine State Conference. So, and they've done really well to keep their attack really quiet. And let's not forget the Spartans, they've made this ground their fortress.
Reminder that the Spartans do go over to Daytona Beach Saturday to face the Embry-Riddle Eagles high, but this is the home finale, so talk about what that means to a program. This is the last regular season home game. Obviously playoffs are nearing, but what is the importance of playing this last regular season home game in your opinion?
Well, it's always good to show the other teams how much like you've improved over the course of the season. Just looking to make you're always looking to make a statement, saying like even if these games are irrelevant, even if you have qualified, like you're always saying there, look, we're always gonna be out here giving it a go. Like that's the message here that the Spartans want to send out.
As both teams back to warming up, 2 minutes away from the final 30 minutes. And we will finish off with your 3 keys to victory for both teams. First, for the Lions, what do they need to do to overcome this 6-goal disadvantage?
Well, I'd say keep applying more pressure at the front and like keeping it tight at the back. And also like make sure that they boss the midfield. I think that's going to be pretty key, because at the moment I think the Spartans have been running them all over. And like that's probably been quite key in this game.
And now for the Spartans, obviously they were clicking, particularly last few minutes of that half. What do they need to do? I believe just protect the ball and stay aggressive should be the keys to victory. What else would you say?
I'd say keep doing what you did in the second part of the half, because that was absolutely phenomenal. Let's not forget it was 5-5, and then they went on a 6-goal spree. So that's probably what the coach has been telling them, like just go out there, do what you did, you're doing it well, and just don't let the opposition play their game.
All right, Ian, well, we appreciate the time. We'll catch up with you at the end of the game. Enjoy the sidelines and keep us posted. Thank you for the halftime show.
Always a pleasure, Connor.
And with that, before we get ready for the second half, we will get a quick word from our sponsor, Mr. Empanada.
Nada. Nada. Empanada. It's Mr. Empanada to you.
Now serving up scrumptious empanadas in convenient Tampa Bay locations. Mr. Empanada.
The sum above difference is giant. Giant hearts, giant differences, and giant wins. On Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, 100% of sales go to a great cause in your community. Jersey Mike's. Be a
And back with you now as we are just seconds into the start of the second half here with UT in the lead 11-5. And you see the Spartans with the ball to start this second half of play. The teams, of course, have switched ends. UT now going right to left. And that's Claire Swanson as the Spartans take it down in behind the St. Leo net. And our temperature has dropped a couple degrees to exactly 80. And if you're just joining us, there was a delay early on in the game with a issue to the temporary scoreboard, and thus it being just a couple minutes to 9 and only being at the start of the second half.
Here come the Lions crossing midfield. They have numbers.
And an opportunity here as a shot is taken and goes wide and out of play for Bridget Sutter, the UT starting goaltender. 5 goals against and 5 saves made. St. Leo started Rebecca Halley, and she gave up 8 goals and made just 3 saves in 20 minutes and 18 seconds of play before
Kristen
giving way to
Frizzle
Erin
and
Davis.
Abby Kikogno with the backline defense. That was an amazing play by the Spartans to slow down the St. Leo attack, and now working some half-field offense for the Lions.
And nothing there for Lexi Wallstad. She pops out the other side, takes a shot that goes wide, and St. Leo able to recover a loose ball. And now with it, Delaney Crisco takes a shot, and Sutter knocked that one down. And UT outlet as Poplar on the relay from Sutter, and now up ahead, that pass misses. It was intended for Kristen Frizzle, and the Lions take over, and back they come, led by Lexi Wallstad. And so the Lions reset after it looked like UT was going to take it back the other way. So the Lions working here offensively. They got the game's first goal. They hope to get the first goal of this half if they're to creep back in. And there's a shot. Sutter got a piece of that one and might have gotten some help from the goalpost on the rebound. And now Sutter trying to rake it in and cover up. And the official right there on the spot to blow it dead. And possession is, in fact, awarded to UT. And so it will be put back in by J.C. Sterrett as it's run up the far side of the field. And here come the Spartans with a pass across midfield. That's Caroline Forrester on the run. Forrester being chased by Ferguson, gets past her. Forrester still with it, cuts to the middle and a pass to Claire Swanson. And Swanson backs up. What a first half she had. A goal and an assist, and more importantly, Swanson with 5 draw controls. And now Crawford, and that one's handled by Erin Davis. And so the Lions able to hold off the Spartans there. And in transition, checked Kayla Wallstad. And of course the official there to whistle it against the Spartans. And so the Lions put it back in. Here goes Wallstad across midfield. Kayla Wallstad on the run. Crosses the UT line. Her pass over for Ferguson. And Ferguson with 2 goals in the first half. A senior from Marietta, Georgia. And Ferguson brings it in and has 3 defenders on her. And has to retreat, not all the way as far as Marietta, Georgia, but quite a bit after there were nothing but white shirts in front of her as it's in behind the Spartan net, and now a long pass, and that one is just pulled down by Ferguson as the pass almost was too tall for her, and Ferguson comes in. There was a whistle before it went into the net.
And they, I believe, now are going to count the goal. Looks to be the decision.
And a curious call because the whistle had clearly blown long before the ball went in the net.
But for Ferguson, she's got a hat trick now, and she is the player that needs to get going. She's the all-time program leader in goals if the Lions want to come back. But we are now 4.5 minutes in, 11-6. St. Leo cutting it closer.
52 on the season now for her. And she also has 16 assists, so 68 points for for Leslie Ferguson. And we'll see Allie Poplar go out for this draw against Jeannie DeLuca. And the goal comes 4 minutes, 26 seconds into the second half. And that one pops way out, and it's Swanson who's able to take it for the Spartans, and Claire Swanson's got some room to work. Sends a pass over for Staley, and the Lions were able to close that one up just in time as the Spartans push it behind the net. Now back out in front. It's on the ground and picked up, and Carly Vaccaro lost the handle along the way, and her stick comes up on Neely Reagan.
Yeah, it appeared that Vaccaro was just a second away from getting what could have easily been her fourth goal, but the Lion defense prevails.
And here comes Ferguson again. Ferguson on the run, being chased, and is pushed from behind. And a mixed reaction from the fans as there's a number of St. Leo supporters that have made the drive here. And I believe for UT I want to say Abby Kakanya, and the official over on the far side of the field giving the call to the scores table. And so obviously a free position attempt coming up here for St. Leo, and indeed Abby Kakanya, call against her. And so a big opportunity here for Leslie Ferguson, who has scored to make it 11-6. Can she score again to trim it to 11-7? She does. Ferguson with her fourth goal of the game. And the Lions get the first two goals of this second half to creep to within 4.
But way back when this game was 5-3, we saw Leslie Ferguson score 2 goals in a matter of less than a minute to equalize it at 5-5. And then the Spartans went on that robust rampage, scored 6 in a row. But now 2 goals consecutive by Ferguson and St. Leo. They have been the hungrier team in the opening few minutes of the second half. And we got ourselves a ball game. 7-11, Spartans over the Lions.
And we'll see Allie Poplar and DeLuca out there for another draw. And again, that goal came as a result of the yellow card to Abby Kakanya as it pops out. And Claire Swanson able to come away with it for UT. Swanson sprints down the middle, and that one's on the ground. And initially it was picked up by the Lions, and now it's a jump ball. And a couple of players go down, one from each team, and St. Leo comes away with it on the far side of the field. Trying to break out is Tessa Riero. A whistle as immediately Kristen Staley headed right to the penalty area, knowing that the call was against her. So UT opening the door a little bit here for the Lions to try to climb back in.
Yes, Spartans getting a bit over aggressive, and like you said, the St. Leo unit out there on the field with a marvelous opportunity to cut this game even closer.
Number 38, Kristen Staley.
So now it's Staley after the Kakanya call resulted in a goal for St. Leo. And here comes DeLuca. DeLuca's got room to work. And Kakanya closes on her. And a whistle by the official on the far side. And that one against UT. And so DeLuca with a free position attempt here and a chance to cut the gap to 3, and takes a shot, and Sutter knocks that one aside. The Lions corral the rebound, and they reset up top with Delaney Crisco. And now Ferguson on the move, shoots and scores. Boy, oh boy, how about Leslie Ferguson, her 5th goal of the game.
Yeah, she's a gamer. The hop step that time. What a first step that time by Ferguson, as she just had no problem running right down the heart of the Spartan defense. 11-8. And how about this? The Lions start the second half, not even 6 minutes in, with 3 straight goals.
Well, and credit St. Leo, because these penalties that are being called against UT are really coming back to haunt them, as now we see the call that went against Staley result in another goal.
And suddenly, the Spartans, they were up by 6, fairly comfortable. All of a sudden, a 3-point ball game. Need to get back to what was working to conclude the first half. And that starts with winning the draw controls. As we take a look at that battle, both teams have won 10 apiece. So with that even time of possession, anything can happen.
And once again, the usual participants, DeLuca and Poplar, on this draw. And it's scooped up by Claire Swanson, so the Spartans able to control the draw following the 8th St. Leo goal. And that's Rachel Crawford running it down the far side. Crawford takes it in behind goaltender Aaron Davis. Crawford looking in front. No white jerseys in front of the net, so she outlets back up top. As on the run is Kasubinski, and gets a shot up and scores. Kayla Kasubinski stops the bleeding, and the Spartans go into a 4-goal lead as Kasubinski gets her 2nd goal of the game.
It was evident that somebody needed to step up for the Spartans. Kayla Kasubinski goes across her body with the miraculous shot, and the Spartans 12-8. What a goal to weather the storm after the Lions struck for 3.
And so Kasubinski gets her 16th goal of the season. It is unassisted. And now Allie Poplar goes out for the draw. And this time Casey Archer will oppose her. And you could argue that the Spartans, having controlled the draw following the 8th St. Leo goal, was the catalyst for what ultimately became the Kasubinski goal, as UT able to pull this one down as well. Claire Swanson sends it up ahead. Gladden's going to take it all the way down into the corner, and now she heads in behind the Lions net. Gladden on the outside as they push it up. And Swanson jogs to her left and sends a pass across. And now sent into the corner by Pierpont. Rachel Crawford. Crawford, her pass connects. Kasubinski, a little flip pass. And Swanson with it now. Swanson. Her pass over to Crawford. Crawford looking, and good patience here by Rachel Crawford as she takes it down to the corner now. Crawford will go in behind the Lions net. And now to pass to Swanson. Swanson tries to curl down the middle, takes a bounce shot. And Davis got a piece of that one. A dangerous rebound as it almost rolled across the goal line. She's able to pick it up in time, and so the Lions will start back.
Big time save by Davis, and now the Lions moving across midfield. It's Ferguson, but she's double teamed, able to maneuver on out of there.
And her pass connects with Crisco on the near side now. It's Tamayo. And the Lions quickly work it to the other side of the field. Here's Ferguson up top, over for Crisco. Crisco will send it back into the corner. And that's Anna Tamayo, right in behind the Spartan net. Up top now, DeLuca. Being watched closely there, and here's an opportunity in front. They score! Casey Archer.
Yeah, Archer running America's offense that time. Pick and roll. And that time, 2 Spartan defenders stayed with the player coming off. And a nice roll by Archer, and that allows her to walk right down Broadway. And it's a 3-goal game again, so St. Leo continuing to hang around, and that's all they can do on the road. Try to hang in there, and who knows, potentially pull off the upset. Spartans now need to respond.
For Casey Archer, her 28th goal of the season, and the assist goes to Janie DeLuca. And for DeLuca, it's now 20 assists on the season, as it looks like we're going to have a timeout called.
We'll get a word from an official sponsor, AT&T, because just okay is not okay.
The new iPhone 8 is at AT&T, and we know you'll love it.
Because we know you want more.
More great camera features and more power. And more than just unlimited data, we give you unlimited plans with HBO included for life.
Because you deserve more entertainment and more spokespeople. Talking like this, saying the word more.
AT&T.
It's time for more. Am I too close? I feel like I'm too close.
Get the iPhone 8 with all AT&T unlimited plans. Get HBO for life. Only.
Back live with you here on the University of Tampa campus, the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex in West Central Florida. A beautiful Wednesday evening here in Tampa as the Spartans have a 12-9 lead during this timeout, which is just about expired. And our current temperature outside is 80 degrees at 9:13 p.m.
Bruce,
here at
have to take a look at midfield. We see Coach Kelly Gallagher and Coach Caitlin Hansen having a word with all 3 officials. Wonder what that's about. Clearly there is something going on. I believe both teams getting a little too aggressive out there, and I think the officials want to make that clear to the coaches that both teams need to settle down a bit. But hey, high stakes, lot on the line, and it's understandable why both teams are so physical. They both want it so bad.
Well, Kelly Gallagher is very animated in this discussion with the officials, as this has turned into an extended timeout, and the officials, as you mentioned, talking with both coaches. It's just Kelly Gallagher who is being very demonstrative during this break, and now they all end that huddle, and the Spartan players are coming back onto the field. And shots on goal, by the way, only 17-15 in favor of the Spartans, so you can tell that the Lions are trying to make their comeback, at least in terms of more shot opportunities. The shots overall in the game are 23-21 in favor of the Lions, so the Spartans just a little bit more accurate, with 17 of their 21 shots being on goal, and of course 12 of the 17 finding the back of the net.
And through the first 39 minutes of action, it has been a scrappy game. Fully expect to see that for the final 21 plus, and we're back live on Tampa Spartans TV.
By the Lions, and in they come in the person of Delaney Crisco, and she passes up ahead. That's Anna Tamayo, taking it all the way down to almost the end line now. Her pass in behind the Spartan net, and they send it up top again for Ferguson, who drops it and quickly picks it back up. And now Ferguson to DeLuca. DeLuca sends it over for Kayla Wallstad, and there's a UT defender right on her, so they send it back for Ferguson. Ferguson looking to go one-on-one against Abby Kakanya, and Kakanya shuts her down, and Ferguson has to retreat and sends that one over now down to the goal line extended. And the Lions looking for a shot in front. They have it, but it goes wide and out of play. That one taken by Lexi Wallstad, and the Lions put it back in. Still 30 seconds on the shot clock for them. And now a pass over and trying to get a step in close. There's a shot, they score! Delaney Crisco gets the goal, and so the Lions hanging around, making this game interesting, as there's still plenty of time left here in the second half. We're only about 10 minutes into the second half, and the score now 12-10.
Delaney Crisco gets the Lions to double digits. Only her second shot, but she's found the back of the net both times. And it's a 2-point ball game. As Bruce said, 20:01 left in the game.
And interesting that St. Leo scored 5 goals in 30 minutes of play in the entire first half, and now they have the same number of goals in 1/3 the amount of time, 10 minutes. And we're 12-10 as they've outscored the Spartans 5-1 here in the second half. And so we're going to see Allie Poplar out there for this draw, which looks like it's going to be against Janie DeLuca. Or actually, no, it's Casey Archer. So Poplar and Casey Archer, a matchup that we have seen in this game as it pops out. And it's going to be chased down and picked up by Caroline Forrester. And the Spartans push it up ahead. Maggie Gladden misses it and runs it down. And Gladden able to control now. Her pass over for Claire Swanson. Swanson checks things to her left, heads to her right. And now a pass over for Staley. Kristen Staley on the move. Staley starts her move, cuts in front, takes a shot. And Davis got a piece of that one. And it looked like Neely Reagan went down for the Lions in such a way that she may be heading off the field, albeit at good speed, but it seemed as though she might have been favoring her right knee.
Third save for Erin Davis in relief. What a job she has done as the St. Leo Lions pushing forward.
And now DeLuca pass right in front, and they score! Casey Archer with another goal. And the Lions continue their assault here in the first part of the second half. And they have climbed almost all the way back from what was a 6-goal deficit at halftime to now reduce the Spartan lead to 1. It's 12-11.
How about Casey Archer, the freshman, stepping up on the big stage? 1-point game. And then the look from Janie DeLuca, the pass. It was a floater over the head of 3 Spartan defenders. Finding her in stride and taking it is Casey Archer. And man, oh man, we have now 19 minutes to go. But this game feels like it just started with this resurgence by the St. Leo Lions.
For Casey Archer, now 29 goals on the season, and so Casey Archer, as you mentioned, Connor, an impressive freshman season, and now the ensuing draw, and it's picked up by Forrester again. So the Spartans fortunate to control that one as Forrester brings it down, a pass to Staley. Staley is checked, has to carry on behind the Lions net. Staley looks in front, sends it up top for Forrester. And Forrester eases that one over to Swanson, to Maggie Gladden, and now on the far side, they push it into the corner. And they'll take it in behind the Lions net. That's Crawford. Over for Staley. Back to Crawford once again. Crawford, as the Spartans start their move in front. Crawford's going to reset up top. And now Swanson looking for room to work. Swanson ducks under a check. It's loose. And the Lions take it away. And the goaltender Davis pulls it down, and now her outlet pass connects with Crisco up ahead. Here comes Ferguson on the run. Leslie Ferguson, she of the 5-goal game so far. Ferguson shoots, and that one goes wide and out of play, and possession will remain with the Lions. And And St. Leo has outscored UT 6-1 thus far in the second half to reduce the home team's lead to 12-11, and looking to get the tying goal here as they have it down in behind the Spartans' net. And right out in front, they score! Just like that, we are tied. And how about these St. Leo Lions coming all the way back from 11-5 halftime deficit. And we are all knotted at 12.
Yes, right now they look like the team to beat. They're playing with so much energy. But hey, we've seen so many different runs all game long. So even though the Spartans now conceding the lead and we're tied, definitely know that the Spartans, they just keep telling themselves, we got to run in us, we just got to weather the storm. And right now it starts with this draw control of the essence. Need this one to retaliate. But hey, the St. Leo Lions giving it to the Tampa Spartans here in the second half.
And this is where you have to wonder, did UT use up too much of their offense in that first half, exploding for 11 goals in the game's first 30 minutes? As you see that one pop out, and it's going to be awarded to the Spartans, a hold called against St. Leo.
Yeah, Ashley Salve at that time, frustrating because everything was going the Lions' way, but the Spartans with the ball looking to make it happen.
Carly Vaccaro on the move. Vaccaro had 3 goals in the first half to go with 2 assists. And that one's dropped, and it's on the ground. And finally picked up by Danielle Waters, who then is taken down. And indeed, there's going to be a call not only against St. Leo, but of all people to Leslie Ferguson, who they've been counting on, as she has provided almost half of their offense, 5 of the team's 12 goals.
Yeah, and she has to go to the bench now. 17 minutes left. Can the Spartans take advantage?
So the yellow card on Ferguson, and the Spartans will put it in play from just outside the St. Leo line. As play now resumes, Carly Vaccaro runs that one right through the St. Leo zone. And here goes Crawford in behind the net. Rachel Crawford breaking in front was Caroline Forrester. She didn't see her. And instead it's in behind the net for Staley. Staley up to Swanson. Swanson looks to the corner, goes the other way to Vaccaro. And now a pass over for Maggie Gladden. Gladden stepping in and is checked. Sends a pass back down to Crawford behind the net. Here's Staley. Staley stepping out in front. Staley being checked. Up top is Swanson. And now they'll try the other side with Gladden again. Maggie Gladden on the move. Her pass connects with Staley. He's going to get a one-on-one. Scores! Kristen Staley. And so the Lions, who had seen a penalty called against Leslie Ferguson, end up coming out on the wrong end of it, as the Spartans are able to capitalize, and they regain the lead 13-12.
Kristen Staley, the sophomore, 3 goals, 3 assists. A little nylon gives the Spartans the 13-12 lead.
And so for Kristen Staley, a 6-point game here. 3 goals and 3 assists. She's at 33-20 for 53 on the season, goals, points, and assists. And once again, for the draw, we're going to see Allie Poplar stand toe-to-toe with Janie DeLuca. And these draw controls becoming ever more important, currently sitting at 15-11 in favor of UT. And now the official set backs out. There's the whistle. Ball comes out, and it's still loose. It looked like DeLuca was going to get there first, but they still chase it down, and Caroline Forrester comes out of the pack with it for the Spartans. Up ahead, wide open, Crawford, a bounce shot. Oh, what a save by Davis.
The sweeper keeper coming out of the crease, making a play.
Crawford gets a stick up high, and Rachel Crawford looks over to the official as that stick seemed to come up around the bridge of her nose.
Easily could have been a call, but play on.
Caroline Forrester with it up top now. Over for Pierpont. Pushes it to the other side. Swanson now in the corner is Staley. Staley on the move, stops, retreats, and sends it back for Swanson. Pierpont flips it back to Swanson. Swanson has Maggie Gladden to her left. Here's Gladden. Quick little flip pass for Forrester, and Forrester is met there defensively by Neely Reagan. And are the Lions able to cause a turnover? Yes. In fact, a whistle there, violation against the Spartans. And so St. Leo will get an opportunity here after they had tied the game at 12. Spartans respond to take a 13-12 lead as we have passed the halfway point of the second half. And on the run now is Leslie Ferguson. Ferguson cuts into the slot. The defense collapses on her, and right away the officials both pull their flag out. And so a call here against UT as Leslie Ferguson is going to get a free position attempt and a chance at a possible 6th goal of the game for her. One-on-one here with Bridget Sutter, and a sloppy shot taken, and the rebound rolls right to Sutter, who outlets, but no, it's intercepted, taken away by the Lions. They score! Lexi Wallstad after some nice work by Kayla Wallstad, and the Lions able to tie it up 13-all.
Yeah, defense into offense, and that time the Spartans handed it to St. Leo. We're tied up again at 13. What a game it's been back and forth.
Well, the teams are playing with a lot of emotion in the sense of the adrenaline is really flowing here, and so in that case it's a little sloppy, and you see the turnover, and the Lions advantageous, able to put that one in behind Bridget Sutter and get it tied back up.
Yeah, this game has been everything we expected it to be on paper. 13-13. This one likely going to come down to crunch time, final 2 minutes. Which team can win more draw controls? Spartans have been good. 16-11, the advantage. Here comes the next one.
And you saw Allie Poplar directing her teammate, and it's still on the ground, and no one able to pick it up for either team, and now the Lions come out with it. It's on the ground once again, picked up by Ferguson. Ferguson being chased there by Danielle Waters. Ferguson, a spin move. This is DeLuca, and DeLuca has to back out as she doesn't have an open teammate, and they'll reset up top with Delaney Crisco. Over now for Archer. Archer sends her pass in behind the net. It's dropped, and unable to get there in time for UT with Sarah Bell as they play on with Ferguson in control here for the Lions. Ferguson being watched by Kakanya. Pass in the middle. There's a shot taken, and Sutter gets that one, and right back come the other way as the Spartans break out. This is Danielle Waters on the run. Her pass over for Maggie Gladden. Gladden withstands a little check from Ashley Salvett, and the Spartans in the far corner now. All the way in behind the net, that's Staley. Staley pops out on the near side. Staley looking for an open teammate. Has to start all the way up top with Lauren McNeil, who starts her move and then retreats and sends it over. Here's Kosubinski. Can't get a shot away, and she has to flip it over for Gladden. Now behind the net, Crawford over for Staley. Lauren McNeil now. Kosubinski tries to split the defense, slips a pass for McNeil, and the pass misses, but the Spartans able to get the rebound. Kosubinski looking for an opening, leaves a pass for Vaccaro. Vaccaro puts her shoulder down, scores! Carly Vaccaro, a good time for her to get back on the board, her 4th goal of the game. And the Spartans are back in the lead. It's 14-13.
Carly Vaccaro has the ability to put the team on her back, and that she just did. 14-13 Spartans. And what a sight it is to see, Bruce, because in all likelihood, these are the 2 best teams that these programs have put forward, and it is living up to the hype. Both of these teams giving it everything right now, and we still have 12-13 to go. What a ball game.
Carly Vaccaro with her 44th goal of the season. And quietly, Kayla Kosubinski now enjoying a 3-point game with 2 goals. She got an assist on that goal for her 10th assist of the season. And UT, for the time being, back in the lead as Allie Poplar steps out once again for yet another draw. And as time continues to tick, each and every draw will become more and more significant. As you see, that one controlled by the Spartans. And here comes Maggie Gladden. Gladden down the near side. Gladden cuts inside and wasn't quite able to take it into the slot. It has to go in behind the Lions' net. Passes over on the far side of the field. And up top now, this is Lauren McNeil.
And how about Claire Swanson winning that draw control? There are some players out there afraid of contact. Claire Swanson, she embraces it. She wants it. And the Spartans right now working some half-field offense, milking some clock as we now have 11:30 to go in regulation.
Lauren McNeil on the move was checked. And now strong defense against Kayla Kosubinski. There's a pass in front. And a loose ball is picked up by the Lions. And they try to start out of their own end. Retreating, Mackenzie Cotter has to play it back to her goaltender Davis. And Aaron Davis has really settled things down in relief here.
Yeah,
after taking over for Haley.
Making that decision by Caitlin Hansen look like the right one. She has done everything in her ability to keep this a tight game. This is 14-13, and we will get an official word from Krispy Kreme serving hot donuts now.
Back live here at the Nemoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex, the Spartans clinging to a 1-goal lead as they have been outscored 8-3 thus far in the second half. And offensively, Leslie Ferguson doing a good share of the damage for the visitors. She has 5 goals and followed closely behind by Lexi Wallstad, who has 3, so the 2 of them have combined for 8 of their team's 13 goals. And meanwhile, half of UT's goals have come from the combination of Carly Vaccaro and Kristen Staley. Vaccaro with 4, Staley with 3. And how about that they each have 6 points? Vaccaro with 4 goals and 2 assists, Staley with 3 and 3. And the timeout is expiring as the team's coming back out on the field. And still plenty of lacrosse left to play here. 11 minutes, 1 second still to go in the second half, so don't go anywhere. This one could go down to the WIRE as these teams jockey for position in the Sunshine State Conference standings. Tampa currently sitting alone in third at 3-1. They trail Rollins and Florida Southern, who are tied for first at 4-1. And St. Leo tied with Embry-Riddle for fourth at 2-2. So a very important game for both teams in the conference as play is resumed. And this is DeLuca. And now in behind the Tampa net, the Lions outlet back up top. And the defense closes up. There's a pass right on the goal crease. And DeLuca goes down. And pass right out in front doesn't connect, but there to pick it up is Archer.
This has been a fun game. Spartans guarding, playing quality defense, head on a swivel. But the Lions looking to make some noise.
DeLuca can't get a shot away, and the pass. And now the Spartans defense, are they able to cause a turnover? No. It's chased down and picked up just in time by Kayla Wallstad. And now Ferguson. And now we're ready for the draw at midfield. Poplar, as you see, Caroline Forrester and Ashley Salvett both changed positions at the last minute, trying to control that draw, and possession to the Spartans as it rolls out on the far side of the field, right in front of the St. Leo sideline. And so UT puts it back into play as Danielle Waters advances. Waters with two defenders chasing her, and now Waters settles it with a pass over for Pierpont, and a weak pass there, and some trouble on the far side as it's picked up by Staley, and Kristen Staley will take it in behind the Lions net. Staley pops out the other side, quick pass in front. Maggie Gladden can't get the shot away, sends a pass behind the net to Crawford. Crawford looking out in front. Crawford on the move, a pass for Forrester. Forrester, two defenders on her. Options to Crawford in the corner, and now behind the net is Maggie Gladden. Gladden pops out the other side. Forrester calling for it, gets it, and plenty of movement by the Spartans offensively here, looking to get someone open in front as Claire Swanson takes over now. Swanson to her right, and we'll send that one over for Pierpont. Pierpont for Forrester. Close quarters there, so she backs out. Forrester switches hands. Pass right in front, intended for Vaccaro, missed, and Rachel Crawford able to pick it up instead. Crawford with a little bit of room to work, tries to cut inside, takes a shot, and a nice save made there by Erin Davis.
Yeah, Erin Davis, without her, who knows where we might be. She has made critical save time and time again. And now St. Leo with 7.5 to go. What can they do? We see the Spartans showing some zone on the half-court defense. Double team, working the perimeter to Lucha.
And Carly Vaccaro takes down DeLuca right in front of the official. And he blows the whistle right on the spot. And Janie DeLuca puts herself back together. And they restart. It's taken into the corner by Lexi Wallstad. And behind the net is Archer. Archer, two defenders on her. They try the far side of the field. Up top is Ferguson. Ferguson being watched by Kakanya. The pass connects. And strong defense by UT there. Ferguson's pass is knocked down by Kakanya, a loose ball, and Sutter tries to cover up in her crease and is able to come up with it. And so the Spartans withstand the pressure there from the Lions, and now they outlet with a pass that just is able to connect with J.C. Starrett. Up ahead at midfield is Crawford. Her pass connects. Come the Spartans down the far side of the field. Pierpont on the run. Takes a shot, scores! What a great effort by Lizzie Pierpont. And the Spartans get another one here as Pierpont tallies her second goal of the game, and a little more breathing room as the lead expands to 3. It's 16-13.
Lizzie Pierpont is beyond her years, only a freshman, but what a play that time, working the right sideline, walking the tightrope. We will have a timeout as a result, as we have 6 minutes, 12 seconds, and the Spartans doing the little things right in moments that mean the most. And right now, the Spartans just need to play quality ball, and they should be A-OK. 16-13 Tampa over St. Leo.
And for Lizzie Pierpont, that will put her at 17 goals on the season.
And with that, we will get a quick word from Charleston Charles Sabathia, ace of the New York Yankees, promoting Pepsi Max, serving fun and refreshment for 100 years.
Tony, T-H-O.
CC. Glad you made it.
Ricky wins again. Oh, what is this place?
Iowa. Only with maximum Pepsi taste and 0 calories.
Whoa.
Back live, and the Spartans clinging now to what has become a 3-goal lead as these teams both winding down the regular season. This is UT's last home game of the year. They will play on Saturday at 5 p.m. up in Daytona Beach against Embry-Riddle, and St. Leo, who is trying to snap a 2-game losing streak after having won their first 13 games of the year. They too will be on the road to wrap up the 2019 schedule this Saturday morning, an 11 a.m. face-off over on the other coast of Florida in Melbourne, playing at Florida Tech. As you see the timeout expiring and the players for both teams coming back out on the field. And once again, we're going to see Allie Poplar go out for this draw for the Spartans as she waits for an opponent from St. Leo. And it looks like in this case, taking the draw for the Lions, a change from what we've been seeing as Sarah Pearson now coming out there to oppose Poplar.
And we take a look earlier today in the Sunshine State Conference play. Rollins were successful in defeating Embry-Riddle. So for the Spartans, need to win every game at this point. A victory tonight could be in sole possession with the tiebreaker over Florida Southern of second in the conference.
Maggie Gladden takes it behind the Lions' net. And let's see if the Spartans try to kill some clock by using as much of the shot clock as they can at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing with how this game has flowed. Taking a look now, 5:40 to go in regulation. Spartans can be in cruise control as long as they possess it on this side of the field.
Indeed, Maggie Gladden looked as though she might have glanced at her sideline. Perhaps some instructions from Coach Kelly Gallagher. They score! Kristen Staley with her 4th goal of the game, and there was still plenty of time left on the shot clock, but she had a golden opportunity and is able to beat Erin Davis to expand the Spartans' lead to 17-13.
Kristen Staley has just about done everything possible, and here comes the celebration from the Tampa Spartans sideline. Why not? Everything going their way. 17-13. All Spartans here at Namoli Family and Intramural Complex.
And you know, Connor, in this game, it's been ebbs and flows. It was all UT in the first half, an 11-5 lead at the halftime break. And then St. Leo came out, looked like a house on fire, and all of a sudden things have started to tip the other way. And in this half, we've had a combined total of 14 goals. The Lions have outscored UT 8-6, but Tampa on a little bit of a run here as they have this 4-goal lead with 5:27 remaining in the second half. And an important draw here as it pops out and is chased down, and Claire Swanson able to take that one and send it up ahead as UT breaks down into the far corner. They'll take it all the way down in behind the Lions' net.
And the Spartan bench is ecstatic right now, cheering on their team. Everything you love to see. It's the Spartans, 5 minutes to go, looking to seal the deal.
Caroline Forrester looking to go one-on-one against Neely Reagan. Passes into the corner to Crawford. Crawford on the move. Sends it up top. Maggie Gladden. Gladden being checked closely there by Haley Campbell. And now a little flip pass. Stopping and pivoting is Pierpont. And this is Caroline Forrester now. In the middle, Swanson fakes the shot. Swanson takes a few steps back. And now looks both ways. And opts for Maggie Gladden to her right. Gladden has a step, gets around Campbell, and pushes it in behind the Lions net where Crawford is back there. Rachel Crawford out in front, has a good look. Crawford scores! Rachel Crawford with some patience and outlasted goaltender Aaron Davis, and the Spartans widen their lead to 5 as time will soon become a factor here. UT getting hot at the right time as Rachel Crawford gets the 18th goal of the game for the Spartans.
Encouraging sign there for Rachel Crawford. She had been held in check the majority of the game, but staying aggressive, not letting the game influence her rhythm, and eventually pays off. A lot of credit to the Spartans and their will. 18-13 as they look to apply the finishing touches on what has been a masterful performance.
Rachel Crawford's 16th goal of the season. And now Allie Poplar out there to work once again in this draw. And it's pulled down cleanly by the Lions as Delaney Crisco had to tidy up her nose on the way in. There's a shot. Sutter got a piece of that one, and it rolls out of play. And the Lions retain possession as they put it back in quickly on the far side of the field. And Connor, you got to feel that the Lions have to feel somewhat deflated after they'd worked so hard and gotten themselves back in this game, only to see Tampa go on this current run.
That's a great point. At any sport, at any level, digging a deep hole early always comes back to haunt you. If this was a tie game at the half, St. Leo would be just fine, but having trailed by so many, as we see a shot go to the right, it makes it tough because they had such a surgence, but at a certain point, you run out of gas, and that's when the Spartans took over about 6 or 7 minutes ago. They have really capitalized, and we see again more defense being applied as the Spartans collect the turnover.
Well, indeed, the Lions had scored 4 straight goals and got the game tied at 12. UT then went up 13-12, only to see the Lions come and answer right back to tie it at 13-13. And ever since then, UT has scored the game's last 5 goals. And that's where we currently sit, with the home team in the lead 18-13. As you see it loose on the far side of the field and picked up by the Spartans. So they're able to retain possession after all. And now a whistle as we are down to what looks like, I want to say 2.5 minutes to go in the second half.
Just under 2:30 now, and you've been saying it all game long with the time finally becoming a factor. And the Spartans right now, take a look, they have 70 on the shot clock, sort of playing keep away at this stage.
Rachel Crawford takes it down in behind the Lions net. Crawford has a cutter in front, scores! Claire Swanson, a great passing play there, as Swanson made no mistake with that one, putting it behind Aaron Davis. And UT, I had said that at one point this game was tied at 13. They have now scored 6 consecutive goals for a 19-13 lead.
Spartans well on their way to the promised land. What a performance. Dealt with adversity. St. Leo came on the road and delivered a performance in their own right that gave them such an opportunity. We see 2 minutes, still a lot of game left, but with a 6-point advantage, bearing a collapse, Spartans looking to improve on the year to their 10th victory and hoping to go 3-1 in conference play.
They've scored 6 in a row and 7 of the game's last 8 goals. And both teams have now scored 8 times each here in the second half, so it goes back to the difference being that 6-goal lead that UT had at halftime when the score was 11-5. And now we're going to see Allie Poplar and Janie DeLuca here on this draw as a jockey for position on the circle, and it pops out and is chased down, and initially it looked like it was going to be Claire Swanson for UT, but instead Ashley Salvett was able to get it for the Lions, and they take it quickly in behind the Spartan net, and the Lions are going to have to work awfully quickly now as Ferguson has it and sends a pass into the corner. That's Kayla Wallstad now in behind the net. The Lions reset. DeLuca on the move. DeLuca looking, gives it to Ferguson. Ferguson and Connor, I'm surprised that they're waiting this long to get off any type of shot.
Absolutely. Now only 85 seconds left. Gotta push it at this point. Where's the sense of urgency?
In the corner now, and they send it in behind the Spartans' net.
And the Spartan defense is everywhere right now.
And cutting through the middle was Delaney Crisco and caught an errant stick along the way. The officials quick to blow that one dead. And so a free position attempt here for Delaney Crisco. She does have 2 goals in this game.
Yeah, and the one thing if you're a Spartan don't want to do is stop the clock. But with a 6-point advantage should be okay, but Sutter needs to make a stop.
And Sutter does. She looked behind herself, and it stayed on the correct side of the goal line.
Close call.
And the Spartans able to advance as they have it up at midfield. As it's sent over to the safety outlet, Kristen Frizzol, who's able to settle things down and now push it up ahead. And here come the Spartans on the run once again. Maggie Gladden on the move. Gladden ducks under a stick of the defender and passes in behind the net to Staley. Staley takes it out to the far side. Staley's going to go one-on-one on her way to the net, loses it, and the goaltender Davis was going to try to chase after it and then changed her mind and returns to her crease as Staley sends it over for Swanson. Swanson holding UT in a big 19-13 lead.
Yeah, the shot clock is off. This appears to be the final as the final seconds wind down.
Swanson being chased. Swanson's going to take it to the net, takes a shot, and Davis makes the save and runs out of her net as the horn goes, and the game is over. The Tampa Spartans survive a scare from the St. Leo Lions and put their foot on the gas and accelerate to a 19-13 victory to raise their overall one-loss record this season to 10-3, while St. Leo drops their 3rd straight game after having started the season with 13 consecutive wins. They're now 13-3, but more importantly, the Spartans go to 3-1 in Sunshine State Conference play, and the Lions fall to 2-3.
What a performance by both teams. A full 60 minutes was on display, and Carly Vaccaro and Leslie Ferguson both scoring 5 goals. But at the end of the day, the Spartans had a stronger supporting cast along with that. Taking a look, Kristen Staley, 4 goals, 3 assists. The sophomore came to play. Claire Swanson, 2 goals, 1 assist. 2 for Maggie Gladden, 1 goal for Crawford along with an assist. Forrester got in as well. Kosubinski and Pierpont, both with 2 apiece. So a team effort all in all. And how about Bridget Sutter? The play she made in net, just spectacular for the Tampa Spartans. What a game.
Yeah, Sutter finishes with 11 saves. And as you mentioned, Connor, Carly Vaccaro and Kristen Staley lead the way. Both finish with 7 points each. Vaccaro 5-2, Staley 4-3. And in a losing effort, Leslie Ferguson finishes with 5 goals to lead St. Leo. And it's not enough. The Spartans 8-8 in that second half, but they outscored the visitors 11-5 in the first half for what ended up being the final margin of victory, 6 goals. And so UT will close out the 2019 regular season on the road. This Saturday they travel to Daytona Beach to play Embry-Riddle at 5 p.m. Do watch at tampaspartans.com after that game for information on Sunshine State Conference playoffs. For St. Leo, they too will wrap up the regular season this Saturday on the road over in Melbourne, playing at Florida Tech at 11 a.m. Our final score here tonight, the Tampa Spartans 19, the St. Leo Lions 13. For Connor Moore, I'm Bruce Wozniak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.